welcome to part 2 of my very own Oscars of the decade so far, where I will be awarding my best pick for each category from films over the past 5 and a bit years. In the first part, we covered all of the technical categories as well as the best foreign film and best animated film. And if you haven't yet checked out that video, be sure to do so or just hop in on this one. As prefaced in part 1, I'm not just working off a list of previous nominees and winners from the real Oscars, but every film. Every film is fair game, so let us go. Starting off with Best Adapted Screenplay, a category of great complexity. Emotional complexity in The Father, artistic complexity in Drive My Car, religious and political complexity in Conclave. But for me, we got to see one of the greatest writer-directors in history come out absolutely swinging with my pick, Paul Thomas Anderson, adapting Thomas Pynchon's Vineland into one battle after another. If we go beyond the film's clear thematic relevance, what we get is a masterclass in structure, in tone, in tension, in humor, and in improvisation. Because as has been explored by the cast and crew themselves, the film flows with great freedom. A lot of scenes and moments were made up as they went along, and yet somehow the overarching narrative flows effortlessly. Always with great intelligence and constant respect to its audience. That balance of decisive storytelling by a master paired with a complete lack of ego and decades of trained instinct to go with the flow, so successfully makes this screenplay truly one of a kind. So Best Adapted Screenplay, one battle after another. For Best Original Screenplay, we could very easily go straight back to Paul Thomas Anderson for giving us his off-kilter take on growing up in Los Angeles with Licorice Pizza, or Martin McDonagh's simple but beautiful conceit that is The Banshees of Inisherin. Todd Field's character study of someone so complex and real that many people thought they were watching a biopic in Tar. Ruben Östlund's hilariously intellectual satire on class with Triangle of Sadness. Ryan Coogler's high-concept vampire dance battle period gangster film about the power of art that somehow comes together as one of the most thematically strong and tonally specific films of the decade. And of course, it would be a crime to not mention Richard Linklater in the category of screenplay, with his poetic exploration of unfulfilled creation, unrequited love, and the tragedy of being misunderstood in Blue Moon. But the winner, we had a debut from someone this decade. A debut that really landed for many people and kickstarted one of the most exciting careers I think we'll see. Celine Song's Past Lives. An authentic exploration of growing up in different cultures, a patient meditation on artistic growth, and a heartbreakingly intelligent and sincere look at the simple concept that is right person, wrong time. Fuck me, I love this film. On paper, it is such a simple screenplay, with so few characters, and yet across the board there is detail, there are layers, and there is that sprinkle of cross-cultural specificity that makes this hit so much harder. And when you have a writer who so clearly understands when to be talky, but also when to let a moment play out in silence, as well as someone who writes emotion with such intelligence, you have my winner for Best Original Screenplay, Past Lives. Now we arrive at the actors, starting with Best Supporting Actor. Two past winners immediately come to mind when I think of this category. Ke Huy Quan's heartfelt and inspirational pure hope core win as Wayman Wang, and Robert Downey Jr.'s powerhouse turn as the resentful Louis Strauss. And what of those who perhaps didn't get the awards love they deserved? Transformative performances perhaps like Bill Skarsgård as the titular Nosferatu and Chris Hemsworth's ginger-bearded Dementus in Furiosa come to mind. And personal favorites, that'll be my rising star of the decade, David Johnson in The Long Walk, or even Alien Romulus for that matter. But to me, one supporting actor rules them all. A man who could very well go on to win his third Oscar for this role in a couple of days, but regardless of the result, this motherfucker Sean Penn as Stephen J. Lockjaw. The walk, the haircut, and the tight-fitting t-shirt individually are iconic beyond compare. And whilst many will praise his performance for its over-the-top caricature-esque energy, it's the sadness, the confusion, the insecurity deep within his eyes, hiding behind the macho military man who loves black girls, that really makes this a truly powerful performance. That makes Lockjaw, in my opinion, one of the most iconic movie villains since Calvin Candy or even Hans Landa for that matter. So Best Supporting Actor, Sean Penn. Best Supporting Actress. Now this category was the most interesting and perhaps the hardest to pick, because I think most of us will agree in this decade, the category of Best Supporting Actor and its winners haven't quite aged in the way that everyone would have wanted. In many cases, through no fault of the actors, wins in this category have left a sour taste in people's mouth. So I thought it would be best to look at those who didn't get the golden statue. Huge love for Angela Bassett in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, as with Kerry Condon in Banshees of Inisherin, and all of the ladies in this year's categories. Immaculate and iconic work across the board this year. My pick, however, wasn't even nominated. A performance for a character that quietly hides for the majority of the film, only to burst onto the scene in its final act, and take full control over an already great cast of actors. My pick, Dolly DeLeon in Triangle of Sadness. Her performance as Abigail is one of quiet competence. Her ability to balance the often erratic tone of Osland's satire is truly impressive, and to make her true presence known so late in the film and hold the entire thing in her hands is an awe-inspiring feat. She's funny, she is strong, she is intelligent, but she's also very toxic and abusive in many ways, and in her final moments, DeLeon goes to a place that one could only describe as Kubrickian. So as rogue of a pick as it might be, well, that's my winner. Best Supporting Actress, Dolly DeLeon. Best Actor. It's been a good 5 years, but in some cases also a controversial one. Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, we've had Cannibal Chalamet, Chocolate Chalamet, Music Biopic Chalamet, Space Jesus Chalamet, and of course Ping Pong Chalamet. Love him or hate him, he may very well be the actor of the decade so far. And what of those quieter performances? Anthony Hopkins starting out the decade in The Father, and Bill Nighy giving perhaps a career best in Living. But when we talk about the kind of performance that is equally powerful and quiet, one with the responsibility of carrying an entire film on its back, I can't think of a more definitive Best Actor performance than my pick, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. I feel like whenever a film is named for its lead character, the stakes become higher for that actor, more so than usual perhaps. Your responsibilities heighten. Being a lead actor means being a leader. To do all of these things and give a generational performance that immortalizes you completely requires a special actor and a special human being. One who can step onto a Christopher Nolan set and take the dramatic reins and lead. And lead he does. If I gave Oppenheimer the award for Best Casting, it is only right that I award the man at the very heart of that entire process, my Best Actor, Cillian Murphy. Best Actress. Now, for me, this is the most impressive category. We have had some of the greatest performances in recent memory battle it out in this one category over the last 5 years. Some years so strong that all the nominees would be winners in weaker years. Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett, Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone, Mikey Madison, Jessie Buckley. There is no way I can pick a Best Actress here and have it be even remotely close to a right answer. So I'm not. I'm just gonna pick my favorite. Call it what you want. Call it bias, call it predisposition. I call it Greta Lee in Past Lives. This is an actor who turns up 12 minutes into a 1 hour and 45-minute movie where she plays the lead, and yet there is an instant familiarity. There is an instant feeling of warmth, but also a clear sense of longing for cultural and emotional familiarity, a desire to be understood to the deepest of levels. Doing all of this without fanfare, but with the most gentle of glances, the most subtle shifts in body language, and all this for a character who speaks 2 languages across the film's runtime. Not to mention carrying this lead character through many years of growth. From her time at university all the way to a stable marriage, there is a clear progression and growth in her performance that never calls attention to itself. And for those who have been lucky enough to watch Past Lives, you will know that it all unravels in the most melancholic way as the film comes to an end. And as much praise as I give Celine's song Screenplay at the start of this video, it is Greta Lee who truly brings the character and the film and all of its themes to life. Best Actress, Greta Lee. Best Director. Who could it be? Now you could say that the 2020s have been a decade of Christopher Nolan, or even Chloe Zhao, both of which won their Best Director Oscars this decade. You could say the Daniels started a whole new age of unconventional creativity, or that Sean Baker represents a giant victory for indie filmmaking. You could look at the old masters who made triumphant returns, such as James Cameron taking us back to Pandora twice, Steven Spielberg reinventing a classic musical and making a film about his formative years, or Scorsese finally bringing DiCaprio and De Niro together in his biggest budget film yet. But to me, my Best Director is someone who spent the last decade building up what was probably the best filmography in those 10 years. Someone who in the 2010s found themselves working across multiple genres, making masterpieces within them and changing how we see those genres for the better. All in preparation for their childhood dream. A dream that would be realized in the 2020s with 2 giant masterpieces, the second of which he was completely shut out of the Oscars for. And my pick, Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. In one word, understanding. A director who understands the vastness of cinema, but also the simplicity that is the language of film. A director so in control of his creative mind that his power trickles into his entire cast and crew. One with the ambition to create a kind of modern epic that would make David Lean proud, and also the humility to tell a comprehensive story of purpose, faith, and power. Villeneuve puts as much of his knowledge into crafting the giant battle sequences as he does a conversation between two people. As a result, crafting a masterpiece that is as epic as it is intimate. So my best director, Denis Villeneuve. And finally, Best Picture. We could define this award so many different ways this decade. Could it be very simply the film that made the most amount of money in Avatar: The Way of Water? Could it be the film that many say truly brought cinema back after the pandemic and the strikes with Oppenheimer? Could we celebrate well-deserved auteur brilliance with Sinners and One Battle After Another? Or even reward pure creativity in a one-in-a-million film like Everything Everywhere All at Once? When I look at this award, I think of what this decade has been for film, what filmmakers have tried to do and what audiences have celebrated above all else. What is cinema of the 2020s? It seems to me, as explored through these two videos, that we yearn for the idea of pure cinema more than ever. Great craftsmanship, on a large scale, artists being allowed to flex their muscles and work at their full strength. Creating films that feel well crafted, not just for the sake of craft or for the sake of spectacle. For every stunning shot, we crave thematic depth in our stories. For every iconic musical theme, we crave emotional catharsis in our characters. And of course, one could say that that is what we have always wanted in our stories, in our art, which is true. But within the 2020s and this hunger for pure cinema, I almost feel like there is a hunger to understand it, to learn and celebrate every aspect of it. The cinematography, the score, the production design, the costumes. More and more people are now turning their attention to filmmakers. So for me, cinema of the 2020s is one led by the craftsmen, the artists, the filmmakers. Not just the directors or producers, but all departments. And so I simply looked at what film has been most mentioned across these two videos. What film utilized every aspect of the medium to craft this notion of pure cinema. That film, and my choice for Best Picture of the decade so far, is Dune Part 2. A complete, comprehensive cinematic experience. And one that quite frankly needs no further explanation. My Best Picture, Dune Part 2. So there it is, guys, my Oscars for the 2020s so far. Do let me know who your winners would be and if you'd like to see more videos of this kind, and I'll see you very soon.